matter what it is in life that you want, you gotta go out there and get it. Just don't let you a sleeper but a dream.
What's up, team? This is Robert Porter and Ipiani Locker with the I Love San Bernardino County radio show on KCAA NBC 106.9 FM, 1050 AM, where we will talk politics. What?
106.5 FM.
106.5 FM. Oh my gosh. That is what you call an early brain fart in this show. It's going to be a great show today, team. Who do we got today, Yanni?
Definitely. You have some amazing staff from Operation New Hope, which does a lot of things for our youth and helping them not only change their life, but getting them on a career path or pathways of enrichment. But I'll let each one of our guests kind of introduce yourself. Starting with Brother George to my right.
With 4,000 friends on Facebook.
Yeah. I should say Chef George.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of popular, but not that popular.
No, well,
Not by intention
I'm ready
either.
for some recipes.
Okay, my grilling, I do a little grilling.
Okay.
But it's in my family, though, so, I'm just a beginner, and, I got some people that's really good.
So what is your name, brother?
My name is George Rounds.
Rounds.
Yes, George Rounds. And I've been a part of Operation New Hope now. I came back in July of last year, but I started in 2010. So basically, I'm a success story for Russell Degnan, who's the CEO of Operation New Hope's father, who is Bill Degnan. Mm-hmm. Right, he brought me on board, right? So you guys just told my history of being incarcerated.
And we'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah, so therefore, I'm here, to kind of, just tell a little bit about what I do in Operation, and how I, perform.
Well, thank you for showing up.
Yes.
Definitely.
And ma'am?
Yeah, hi, I'm Christina Castro. So with Operation New Hope, I've been around for 2.5 years now, helping with the youth. I started off with the workforce program, and now I run the Youth Opportunity Pathway program with the youth. Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Awesome.
Well, sounds like we have a great show today. Unfortunately, Travis Miller.
Yes.
Oh man, I was looking forward to seeing
Me
him.
too.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, but Travis Miller had a family emergency, so he's stepping up to assist his family. So
And we know all about that.
yes, we do. Yes, we do. And it's a
we-
blessing that they have a son that's willing to step up, and then he is blessed to have those kind of parents that had a loving environment where he feels the obligation to do so, because not everyone has that.
Yes.
Sadly, right?
Yes.
But we'll try to circle back around.
It is often both ways.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's a two-way
and,
street.
and I feel very fortunate and lucky that I had a nuclear family growing
Amen.
up.
Same
and,
here.
we were,
Same here. Same blessings.
So I do understand that some people didn't get the luckiness, right? Like
Totally.
I thought about that today when I posted the pictures of all the fruit and stuff in my garden. I'm like, man, like if you don't have a backyard, it's kind of hard to have an orchard, right? So like I have to
be mindful,
be cognizant of that. Yeah, like that. I'm lucky,
Amen.
and
Blessed.
not everyone is blessed, but I'm gonna enjoy that I am blessed and realize it, right?
Amen.
Yeah,
For real.
Yeah,
For real.
The good stuff. But I'd like to mention our sponsors. Golden Pizza and Wings over on Highland and Golden. Some good pizza over there. You have to kind of get in the area, and there's a taco shop over there and a little discount store that they all own those spots. But you gotta shop in any of them. But if you want to head out there and get the $7.55 plus tax all day, every day, large pepperoni or cheese pizza.
Hey now.
That's a steal.
Get that for the kids. Head on in there. Get 30 of them if you want. Right?
Pizza party.
Yeah. You got to get. Charter school needs to eat too, right? And you're not cooking, chef, right?
I'll bring my 2-barrel barbecue pit.
They're also have a spot over on Olive and Waterman. Say hello to Ted over there. Tell him I said what's up. And order something on a Friday night.
There you go.
No need to go to Cedar Brothers that day.
Yeah, pizza and wings, right?
Yeah. Enjoy it. And I don't eat out every day, team, but I like to eat out.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I try to.
Because you were just over there at the hot pot.
Yes, and the faux mai, right? Yeah, and I like good food. I admit it, but I do try to pick healthy options.
Yes, indeed.
And I do try to eat salad for lunch every day.
That's smart.
which is hard to do because occasionally it's a burrito. Here or there.
You just throw the salad in
yeah.
there, you know.
But I've been trying to eat at least one salad every day, which
Definitely.
is also hard to do.
You know, I was at a point, and I got to get back to it. But I used to have a salad for dinner when I was super focused on my health. You know what I mean? And it's really good that getting that fiber, getting the greens, and everything like that helps with digestion. I'm gonna get you the minerals and everything that you need as well.
It layers my mama's stomach
There you go.
or our stomach.
Yes, indeed.
And prevents blood
Spikes.
sugar, spikes, right? So and then also fat absorbs sometimes. So like you gotta try to mix it all.
Definitely. And
Yeah,
healthy fats, you
yeah.
got those avocados off in there.
We got lucky with avocados.
There you
Yes,
go.
we do. No joke, team. Today I took an avocado, I cut it in half. I took a spoon, I scooped out one half. It came right out. I ate the whole thing in one bite.
There you
and
go.
then I went the other side, and then I opened up another one.
Have you ever had the avocado ice cream? Because they make avocado
yeah.
ice cream. I've
Wow.
never had
I
it.
like avocado everything.
Okay.
It's the good fat, huh?
It's good stuff.
Have you ever seen avocado on pizza? Golden pizza. We got to give it a try. The avocado pizza.
Yeah, so like heating avocado is a little bit different.
Maybe we slice it on there cold. It's
Yeah.
cooked, and then you slice.
I like that idea.
You know what I mean?
I've never tried that either.
Never know.
I mean, if
Avocado
you're-
frat
Yeah,
bag.
you put a fish on there, you can put some avocado on there, right?
There you go with fish sticks.
I've eaten anchovies a couple times.
I like anchovies on my pizza.
Really?
Like every once in a while, my dad used to love it. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
okay,
And
so like-
that sour is that salty and that sour, but it tastes really good to me. But
Okay.
probably not the healthiest thing as far as sodium is concerned.
True. All right. Oh well, that's Golden Pizza and Wings, right? And then we also have PAL Charter Academy, PAL Middle School, High School, and Summer School. If you'd
Hey.
like more information, call 909-887-7002 or go get info@palcenter.org. Info@palcenter.org. PAL provides the high quality instruction every child deserves. So you want your kids to have a good foundation. Maybe they're not getting along in another school. You want them to send them to a charter school so they can get some special treatment and build a good, strong foundation.
Yes, indeed.
Head over to PAL and they'll take care of you.
What I love when we had Brother Radford, I believe, is on here from the PAL was how they have that like relax center or that mental health.
You mean Miss Radden?
Mr. Radden.
Yeah, Mr.
Mr.
Radden,
Radden.
yeah.
My apologies,
Yeah.
brother. And thank you, Robert. But how they are addressing like the mental health needs as well, right? Because when we were growing up, there was no mental health services on the middle school or high school, at least for me growing up here on the west side of San Bernardino and going through the San Bernardino Unified School District. Really didn't have much access to that. But now with this shift where they see the needs of addressing their mental health and giving them the tools to navigate, the things that are going to happen in life, right? So I really appreciate that the students have a place to go and decompress, to refocus, to be heard, and to get them into a good, positive headspace where they're open to learning and willing and wanting to learn and can learn.
And not just sending them home.
Yeah, just throwing them back out there
Because
into the streets.
sending kids home, that don't work.
That's a vacation.
Yeah, that really.
The game systems.
Man, I used to. I was a perfect attendance kid all through elementary school. I have the awards to prove it.
There you
I had
go.
2 years in a row award
Awesome.
for perfect attendance.
There you
But once I got into junior high, I realized, wow, if you pretend to be sick, you can be at home, right? So like,
I'm dying here. I'm dying here.
it didn't who knows what I would have been getting into. You know?
You know.
Yeah.
What did you get into?
Well,
Nothing you can share on there.
Well, I'll share one thing. My dad had a cigarette or a cigar box, a
Yeah.
Cuban cigar box with cigars in it from when I was born and when James was born.
Yeah.
So I snuck one time.
I hear you.
And went back in the
You probably were
back
choking
area.
so hard.
Oh man, that thing was nasty, man. Oh man, I was like, man. Oh,
Awesome. We all done those
Those
things.
crazy days. All right,
Yeah,
all right. But,
yeah.
but don't let your kid turn out to be like me. Send him to Powell Charter Academy.
Well, I don't know. You just had that viral video with 1.9 viewers. Maybe they all want to be influencers nowadays.
You mean I got a 0.9 viewer too? You mean
1.9 million.
a million viewers?
Okay, yeah. Don't leave out that million. Yeah.
Who would have thunk it that I could get a 1.9 million? But when you post about Chubsies,
Chubsies,
yeah, you
man.
can get 1.9
Best
million.
burger, best smash burger in the Inland Empire.
Yeah, Chubsies, head on over to Chubsies right there on Highland and
Sterling.
and they're right there next to the Crazy Boss in that little
Mm-hmm.
area. Down from the what's that?
Del Rose.
Well, the grill there, Walla Grill.
Yeah, Robert Grill's
Robert
right there
Grill, yeah.
at the old Burger King location.
Yeah, right down the street there.
Totally.
Yeah, and they're good. Get some jalapenos on there too.
Yeah. Definitely.
But,
Wubs
man,
in
but
there.
it is possible to get 1 million views. It really is. I just never
Yeah.
thought it would
Be
happen
you.
on a 1 second video.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
it.
Wow. And,
They
and
say
Jason
that-
Lola's art on there too
Yes.
from Wax Skateboard.
Awesome, dude. Shout out to Jason
Yep.
Loda for real. Wax
Incredible.
Skateboard.
He created the little Chubsy's dinosaur figure,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they made these pins. So he gave me one for my birthday, and I
Yeah.
went home and I did it, and it just went viral for
Awesome,
him,
man.
I
Wow.
can't even think of a better thing to go viral.
I
right?
hear you, I hear you.
I mean, of course, I would love the mega art someday to
It
go
will.
viral.
Is
Right?
it will.
You know,
It will.
60,000 is still a lot of views,
Totally,
right?
totally.
But like, wow,
1.9
in like a
million.
few days. Like, this is crazy. Like, it got 1 million views in one day.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
Like, so it is totally possible for you to do it.
That's amazing, brother.
I'd also like to mention San Bernardino standout of the week.
Yes,
is-
our standout of the week is Sisters Making a Difference. Ronnie and her amazing sisters. Shout out to moms as well as Chase's Journey Foundation. They had their 3rd annual Super Friends Autism Awareness Walk at San Bernardino Valley College. Go Wolverines. It was an amazing event. They're just growing and growing every year. I would easily say it was well over 300 people there, probably about 15 different vendors. It was just a beautiful time coming together, all ethnicities, all different belief systems, different orientations, there's differences, but yet coming together to advocate for autism and their loved ones, right? So it was just a beautiful thing.
Autism doesn't know any group or color of your skin,
Totally.
anything.
It can affect
right?
us
Yep.
if it affects humanity, as we're all a part of it, right? And then I had to one of
And those people are also caregivers too.
Yes,
Yes.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a couple of boxes that are checked in that. And you know what? Now you make me think I should have reached out to the union, SCIU 2015, and I'm gonna definitely reach out to them next year and let them know about this event. Hopefully the union will be involved next year and help support, be a supporter, a sponsor, I should say. But it was a beautiful event. You know, if you want to see some of the photography for the event, because that was my in-kind donation with Engaging Captures Caught, which is my photography service with Motivational Realization. So if you go to my page, Facebook page, Ipyani, Ipyani, is only another one in the world that I know of. You can check out one of the albums that I did where you can see a lot of those pictures. And if you see yourself in the picture, go ahead and tag yourself, you know?
Can we get him to change his name? Like you deserve it. You should be the only Ipyani in the world.
No, interesting story. Like I was telling Brother George off air, I connected with Brother via Instagram. So we're going to set up an Instagram live to chop it up with one another, because I want to know how his lived experience was in New York. He's on the East Coast. I'm over here on the West Coast. He played basketball. I played basketball. Both of our names are Ipyani. He doesn't know another one. But the part that was super awesome, because I was taught that my name means grace. He was taught that his name means graceful warrior. So we both landed on the grace aspect. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
And like the last name?
His name is Grant. Ipyani Grant, and I'm Ipyani Lockhart.
So I took it upon myself one time to friend every Robert Allen Porter on Facebook and every Robert Porter. And you would be surprised, a lot of them reciprocated.
There you go.
And I follow...
There you go, the Roberts.
One guy, he lives in Detroit, and he's very involved in his church, and I've watched him get married and all this stuff.
Awesome. Was it diversity in the ethnicity? Was it?
Yes,
okay.
yes. And one guy, Robert Porter, is from the other side of my family, I guess. Or whatever. Yeah, that comes from somewhere.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, people took on the name Porter when they moved stuff. Right, or in England it was
Working at the ports.
carrying the luggage into
like the portable, like the portable barn?
greeting you when you came into the castle.
Definitely.
Right?
Okay.
So you could ring the bell or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
You carry the. You're a
bellhop.
I was
You're
a
a bellhop.
servant, man. We were servants, but like it
But
was
you're
good.
still serving the community now.
Yeah, he does to this day. To this day. But other times during slavery, sometimes took the Porter name on after slavery as something that they did.
I hear
Right.
you. Yeah.
So is why Porter is around
prevalent-
all over,
A
right?
prevalent surname.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and it deserves recognition because we're good Porters.
There you go.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And that was cool. So you may be careful for any same name now because of all the clothes and everything. But
Might be-
I did it 10 years ago, like when like that stuff didn't matter.
You might be friending a government, a state actor, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. But it's funny, and I know we'll move on, but I was a lot Porter at Rotolo Chevrolet back in the day.
Oh, wow. That's, and really in junior high I was called Robert Quarter.
Robert Porter. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
We probably know why.
Yeah.
Great prices, great value.
Let's move on. Thank you, sisters, making a difference.
Yes,
and
indeed. Chase Journey Foundation.
And this is brought to you by Myokja Shabu. They're located right across the street from Costco, and they got this hot pot, right? So she brings out all these vegetables, Cindy Tadas and her husband, and some incredible meats. And you have the hot pot in the bone pork broth
Bone
just
broth.
sitting there
Delicious.
cooking, boiling right in front of you.
Hey, now.
You drop all the vegetables in there. You bit the meat in there. You take your chopsticks or me a fork. You get it and you dip it in the different sauces. I like to dip several sauces and then you chomp it.
I hear you.
It
Chomp-alicious.
is good,
Yeah.
right? You got to be careful about burning your tongue.
It's a little hot.
But
Let it cool off a little.
but it's still really good. And they got a bowl of rice that you can put it
There
on.
you
So
go.
you,
There you go.
Yep. And they got some good alcohol deals and stuff like that. So if you follow I Love San Bernardino on Instagram or Robert Porter or I Love San Bernardino by Robert Porter on Facebook, you can get some of this information I keep posting up. Or follow them, Myokja Shabu on Instagram.
Awesome.
Right? Or Mochi Nut.
Hey, now.
Yeah, over on Redlands Boulevard and Anderson.
Yes.
Right there in Loma Linda, but it's on the
Yeah,
corner of
it's-
San Bernardino.
yeah,
Right, it's right there.
that-
But
you
they got
cross
these
the street here in
incredible
San
yam donuts.
Ah.
Yeah, and my friends just went down there, Chris Torrio and his family, and they were asking me, how do we get to these corn dogs? These like corn dogs covered in Rice Krispies or in hot Cheetos.
Yeah.
Oh, that's where they sell them, right
There
there at
you
the
go.
Mochi Nut. So head on down there, and they went on down there, posted their stuff up.
Yeah.
I was really proud of them. That was
Awesome,
cool
because
stuff.
you were just in the BBQ chicken as well.
Yeah, and also at the Shabu Shabu. So
I just recently saw.
Myokja.
Awesome. I just recently saw an article where they were talking to chefs and they were rating some of the best fried chicken throughout America. And the number one spot was BBQ chicken.
Oh, that's awesome.
Definitely.
It
Korean
is-
fried chicken.
It is yummy. It is
No, it
yummy.
really is.
I'd also like to mention something that's close to my heart and something kind of sad for me before we talk about the history tidbit. My friend Elmo, I don't know if you guys knew Elmo.
Yeah, we
like
knew Elmo.
William
Yeah.
Elmo Green Med Ciosi.
Yeah.
He was a good buddy of ours.
Yes, indeed.
He helped. So he moved out here from Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, as a cannabis refugee. He really believed in Prop 215 in its soul, right? So he came here and he moved to San Bernardino, and his main thing was to be able to get medical cannabis.
Oh, yeah.
So after a while, he realized that he had to be part of the movement in San Bernardino to legalize cannabis locally.
Yeah.
And he
helped
took that on, became
Yeah.
the Brownie Mary Club president. He was a co-host with me on
Yes.
KCAA for Cannabis Corner.
Yes, indeed.
Also on I Love San Bernardino,
Yes,
and
yes.
with you as well.
Yes. Mr.
Back in the
Greenman.
day. So
Yeah.
we eventually created our own show, Cannabis Corner, to try to get the legalization movement started and help it. And it worked.
Yes, it did.
And the main goal was to keep our friends out of jail.
Basically.
Right?
Basically.
And
yeah.
and I realized that I received benefits being a white boy and cannabis didn't send Robert to jail.
I hear you.
But cannabis sent some of my friends to jail.
I hear you.
Yeah? And you shouldn't go to jail for that plant. I really don't
For-
believe so. So
for-
we
yeah.
fought hard in the city. We didn't end up getting the dispensaries of our own like we dreamed of, or the cannabis. We wanted a farmer's market. We really did. That didn't quite pan out, but we did get legalization.
Yes,
right?
indeed. Yes, indeed.
So thank you, Elmo, for all you've done. And we'll remember you on the other side. We'll remember you
Yeah,
here.
you transition.
Yeah, whenever
Yeah.
we talk about the movement here in San Bernardino,
indeed.
we won't forget your name, Elmo
Green
Meds.
Yeah, totally. He was a good man. A wealth of knowledge and
Yes.
insight. Very wise. Very, very. You could have very in-depth conversations with him.
Religious or
yeah.
political or whatever.
A
Yeah.
spectrum of conversations, and he always had a good word. But he always brought a very positive energy, very low key, but definitely a man of respect and great wisdom. And we celebrate him, and we dedicate this show to Elmo Green Man.
And I also like to extend that dedication to all of those who helped us in the 215 movement and beyond for legalization that are dead now.
Oh, that
Right?
transition.
Yes, I was looking at some of those pictures I posted of Mr.
Yeah,
Greenman's, Deborah
Miss
Coleman's
Deborah,
gone.
yeah.
Like, I'm like, wow, this is like.
We're
you
blessed
know,
to be
yeah,
alive.
Yeah,
We're blessed to be alive.
they were fighting for their lives, right?
Really,
Yeah.
they were.
So now we'll never forget that
Amen.
team. I told Eddie and Amethyst, like, whoever's the last person alive, we still got to keep the stories going,
No,
right?
no. Carry
And
it
I
back.
saved all the political signs and stuff, so
There you go.
I have it all packaged up. A lot of the old flyers from that movement, and it's all going to the Historical Society, and it's written on the manila envelope. So
Right.
I'm protecting it. You want a little bit of history tidbit?
A scotch.
A scotch? All right, I'll do a small one. You
All right,
guys
thank you,
know Kendall Drive?
Yes.
All right. Albert G. Kendall left fatherless at 4, enjoyed 2 careers, one in Nebraska and the other in San Bernardino County. In Nebraska, he took up a homestead in Howard County and acquired 1,000 acres of land there. He became county clerk and in 1875 was elected the youngest member of the Constitutional Convention from the area. With only 3 votes being cast against him, in 1880, Kendall was elected Commissioner of Public Lands and Buildings for the state of Nebraska. And he held this post for 4 years. In 1887, he resigned as the cashier of the St. Paul National Bank in St. Paul, Nebraska, and came west to relax. Kendall bought a 10-acre orange grove in Ontario. However, in 1891, he was elected tax collector and later county assessor. He helped organize the San Bernardino County Savings Bank and was cashier and manager for many years. He became secretary and manager of the California Citrus Protective League and was sent to Washington, D.C. to represent the citrus industry in the tariff fight. Kendall served for 8 years as president of the Farmers Exchange Bank and Savings Bank of San Bernardino, and later as chairman of the board. In 1918, he again entered public service as a member of the County Board of Supervisors, and he succeeded to chairman of the board, in which the post he served from 1920 until 1926.
Amazing.
But I really thought that was interesting, the tariff fight.
Yeah, because we're in the midst of one right now. I picked up on that too.
Wow.
That's very interesting. So what goes around comes around.
So
It's a cycle.
Kendall, you all know Kendall in North End of San Bernardino.
totally.
So this book is a guidepost to histories, origins, and place names of streets.
Awesome. Well, definitely. Thank you, Robert, for that history tidbit.
I do have one. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
sir.
How do you request city services? You can call 909-384-7272 or go to SB City and get the app, or go to sbcity.org/SB Access and you can get it online there.
Definitely.
So you can get it, in the App Store. And then Eric, how do you get the app for KCAA?
Don't forget to download the KCAA app off of the Google Play store on the Google, and then the Apple App Store. Go ahead and just type in KCAA, and then you can listen from Paris, California, or Paris, France.
And you can listen right now, team.
Yeah,
If you
live.
it's not coming in real good, get the app. Come up quick, bam, you'll get it right
There you
away.
go. Definitely want to say thank you to our engineer, E Money, doing his thing, and host of Palm Trees in Progress as well.
Thanks, man. Of course.
Definitely, brother. Well, let's dive on in here, right? Who wants to go first? I'll let you guys choose. Who wants to kind of give the framing of Operation New Hope?
Okay, go.
Who could give us the framing of Operation New Hope? Or we're going to flip a coin.
You can get the framing, huh?
Oh, if you like, okay, sure,
Yeah.
I'll do it. So Operation New Hope has been around for 45 years. Started with the prison to employment employment. And now we are very going really headstrong with the youth. So we have many grants actually. And the staff that is here now is part of more than 1 or 2 grants. So, for instance, George is working with like 2 or 3 grants, and myself as well. So, Operation New Hope, I guess in short, our mission is to empower the underserved youth by giving them educational resources, mentorship, and like you said, pathways,
Definitely.
guidance for a better pathway.
Yes.
So we work with a lot of youth that is either justice involved, homeless youth, foster youth, parent youth. And what we do is offer the resources that we have through the workforce. So we have a workforce grant, and then we also have a Youth Opportunity Pathway program, which helps them with, before entering into the workforce, it helps with like soft skills. So, resume building, just like basic skills, how to conduct yourself, what is an interview, how to talk to people,
Financial
how to
literacy.
dress, to
Yes.
impress,
That's
one of those
important.
things.
Yes.
Yeah. One thing I just had just real quickly, I had a participant I was working with, and the employer wanted to do the full interview. Like, I'm going to interview them, and please just tell them no sweats. I don't want to see, because he's like, something about the kids right now with sweats and Crocs. And, he's like, after he can, but the interview process, he has to be, he's like, just that one time, I want to see that. So we talked about it, and he did it, and he got the job, and now he's working full time with this employer, and it's a really cool gig. It's media conversion. So it's a niche type of job, right?
No,
like,
but-
it's not a warehouse. It's definitely
Those niche
something
jobs
cool.
pay
Yeah,
well.
they pay well, and now he's on his payroll. So that's what we do, or at least I do with the youth. I work closely with the youth. I also work closely with our partners, which is Learn for Life. And they're everywhere. They're on 2nd Street. They're on Highland here in San Bernardino, and they're all over.
What made you want to work for this organization?
What made me want to work for this organization? Well, I was actually born and raised in LA, and so I went through my struggles and tribulations. I have a single mom who took care of us. I went to a Catholic school out there, and I played a lot of music out there. I got involved with some things that maybe I shouldn't have. I was also actually part of a co-op out there before the ordinance of legal marijuana. Arts District Healing Center. I'll never forget. That was a really great part.
We did our time.
Yeah. So I'm part of that generation there. But definitely, I think for me, it's going full circle. Like, I've had mentors in my life that helped me when I was going through really tough times, and what helped me was not only like you said, you come from a nuclear family. I didn't quite come from a nuclear family, but I had a lot of loving family, a lot of support.
Amen.
So that was a big thing for me, just the support of my family, and I ended up here, and I feel like it was just full circle. Like, I ended up where I needed to be, and I have my story, like many of us at Operation New Hope. We have our stories, and we can just help with just having that story alone, just being able to relate, if you will, and yeah, I just love doing what I'm doing now. And I have a little bit of music
I was just about to ask
skills.
you, how long have you been playing the guitar for?
I've been playing guitar for about 10 years,
Awesome.
off and on.
I
And
should have had you bring the guitar.
yeah, when you said your performance canceled, I was like, well, I'll just break into a song now. Like,
Send it to the man right there. We'll have you back on.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, so right now I teach, it's just once a week for the charter school that we work with closely. So I do that for the charter school, and we rotate. So I was on 2nd Street for a while, and kids just really love it. It's part of the school was able to incorporate it as part of like their curriculum.
Yeah.
And they receive credits, so it's a really good thing. It's working out, and I'm kind of all over the place with that.
That's
so
beautiful.
good stuff. Yeah.
That's
And
beautiful.
we're halfway through the show. I'd like to mention our sponsors, Motivational Realizations, the
Energy of positive thought. Definitely. Thank you, Brother Robert. Brother George, how's your experience been working at Operation New Hope?
And yes, and she mentioned to prison to employment.
Yes.
And this goes back, like she said, 45 years ago, 1981. So this is when Bill Degnan, Russell Degnan's dad, was over the company or the organization. And that's how I got introduced while I was incarcerated. So I actually got incarcerated in 1981 and actually was released in 2010.
I was 5.
I was 18 years old.
18 years old.
When I was
You
18
made
years.
some mistakes.
I made some
Are you
mistakes.
willing to let us know what you did?
Yeah, I guess if you want to really know.
Yeah.
Whatever you're comfortable
Yeah, if
sharing.
you don't want to, it's okay. It's
Whatever you're
okay.
comfortable
Like,
Yeah, I was actually convicted of murder and attempted murder.
Okay.
And I actually received a life sentence of 15 to life. And I actually went to the board, 13 times before I was found suitable for parole.
Okay.
And I was found suitable for parole, and that was in 2010?
Yes.
I'm home, and guess what? I got a certificate of rehabilitation, and
Amen.
right now my stuff is sitting on the governor's desk for pardon.
Hey now.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Like, are you the same person as that 18-year-old?
No, in no ways,
Would you recognize that 18-year-old or just barely?
barely.
Like,
I can say
I feel the same way about myself too.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I would say barely because at 18, I entered into San Quentin, and that was in the early 80s.
I hear you.
So, and then from
That's
there,
a whole nother show.
that's
that's hardcore. Yeah.
from there all the way to Folsom. So at that time they called San Quentin Devil's Island,
I hear you.
and then Folsom was the end of the world. So you can say I've been to Devil's Island and the end of the world, and then made my way down and worked my way down, through schooling, getting my education because I went in there doing my senior year of high school.
Everybody
So-
deserves a second chance.
Absolutely.
Wow, now
And then a third and a fourth.
So, amen.
and I went through a lot of governors too. So I went through Duke Major, then Pete Wilson, then
Oh,
Gray
Pete
Davis. He got his day taken,
Oh, yeah.
and then of course Arnold, and that's who I got up under Arnold Schwarzenegger when he took over Gray Davis' spot. So yeah, so I've been
Terminator,
home. Yeah, the
Terminator.
Terminator. He terminated. Yeah. So I mean, I'm actually, I feel actually blessed to have the opportunities. I got 2 degrees since I've been home. So it ain't just about being in prison and in programming.
So you're not wasting.
right. I
Yeah.
volunteered.
This is the gravy, right?
This
Yeah,
is gravy.
Yeah.
I volunteered a lot, so that's how being a part of Operation New Hope.
Did
it
you
was-
did you expect never to get out of?
Yes, I had a life sentence.
So you really never expected to get out, and you got a second. That is just.
I got a second chance.
That's when you use it.
Yeah. And I love it. I enjoy
So what
it.
was that feeling like?
Well, basically, it was feeling like unbelievable, right? It was really unbelievable.
Like,
and
like winning a lottery? Like, did you really think, oh my God, this isn't happening? Or-
yeah, it felt
It's
really,
fake, or-
it felt really like it was a dream.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Just like it was a dream when I first committed my crime, it felt like a dream.
I believe
So
surreal.
it was so real. So like being home though is like really to me, I'm taking advantage of it. Going to school, volunteering. So I did a lot of volunteering, and Operation Hope is basically where I actually had a foundation of volunteering and helping. Like she said, it was charter schools. Then it was John Muir's charter school.
Okay.
So yeah, I was working with them. So they was part of Operation New Hope, and then also I don't know if you guys heard of Urban Conservation Corps.
Yes.
Yes, I work with them. Bobby Vega
Okay.
and Sandy
Oh,
Baloney.
yeah. Rest in peace.
Rest
yeah.
in peace, Bobby
yeah,
Vega.
Yeah, he has a wonderful
A
mural.
mural,
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
And Bobby Vega kind of brought me in too. So,
Awesome.
in bringing me in, I was part of AmeriCorps, so I was able to volunteer nationally doing AmeriCorps, the National Forest Association.
Awesome.
So we was up in the hills. I was taking them youngsters up there.
Oh,
Yeah, so
spiritually, or do you go to school, to church, or?
yes,
do you have
my
a
belief
faith
is a
practice?
Christian. I'm
Okay,
definitely a Christian,
what
and
church do you go to? Or?
well, basically, I haven't found. I've been around, but there's a lot of big churches that I'm not really comfortable with. I like small churches.
Yeah, I don't go to church, but I believe.
I like
Yeah.
small
Yeah.
churches.
Yeah.
Same.
And
I like it.
I wanted to say that, you don't have to go to a church, a mosque, or a synagogue to connect with a higher power.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So don't ever think that first of all, you are the church.
That's
Yeah.
right. I agree with you.
Yeah.
And I was just telling my coworker Mario Jacobs, he's my coworker. We go inside the
Mario
juvenile
Jacobs.
halls. Today it's going to be like a 12-hour shift for me because every Monday we go into Apple Valley Arise. It's called the Lifers Juvenile. And we give them anger management classes, financial literacy classes, and food handling. So today we was there all day, and I was just telling him about the church. Church is where 2 or more gather, right?
Amen.
Two more gathered, and Christ is in the midst, right? So that's my church. It's not a building.
No, I hear you.
So like you said,
Yeah.
and I actually, like I said, I'm still in search of finding a small, nice church,
The reason I ask
Yeah.
is more likely than not, someone who comes out of prison, oftentimes it gets involved in the church. So when it doesn't happen, I like to hear that too. I like to. That's not the only path, right?
Totally.
To finding your way.
Totally.
And sometimes people get involved in the church that shouldn't be involved in the church.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
That's
we
right.
just had a pastor do that here locally, ran for city council, and now he's like dealing with all kinds of drama,
I
right?
hear you. I
Yeah.
hear you. So that's why it's so important for each to connect with the divine personally.
Yes.
Right.
That's right.
Because we all can be shepherds or guides, or let me frame it. We all can be lights of love and hope.
That's
'Cause
right.
There's many of pathways, different
And we
faith
can all
beliefs.
study too.
Yes,
and we
indeed.
can
Yes.
all, and spirituality for me is something inside.
Yes.
Right.
And it a lot of times takes meditation and quietness and just being by myself to figure it out.
They talk
Yes.
about that being the shadow work, the
Yeah.
unseen, but because that's so key in our lives as human beings is that mirror of self-reflection and being honest about our shortcomings, the parts that we play
Right.
in
Definitely.
what has happened in our life. Because sadly, as humans, we always like to play the victim, and when we tell stories, we like to tell the stories like, "Oh, we're the victim," like we had no part
Right,
in the play,
definitely,
like
definitely.
it's all
That
bad.
you
You played a
Right.
role in it, and you had in AA they talk about you have to acknowledge your role
That's
in,
right.
in the addiction
That's right.
and what caused that and the harms that you cause. So
I tell people, when I look in the mirror, I usually find the problem.
And like he says, it's by grace.
that's so true.
And it's by grace.
Yes,
Like you
amen,
said, that we
amen,
say.
amen.
So you're right.
And it's hard to do that.
No, it
Because
is.
you know what? It looks so perfect. So-
It shatters that
Yeah.
illusion, right? But the reality is that we're all broken, right?
Yeah.
And but we can all still continue to be shaped into a vessel of love and light to pour upon humanity.
and compromise with those problems.
Totally.
Like, yeah, and like, you don't have to be an enemy. You can still be nice to someone and they can still hate you.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I
Lead
have
with
lots
love.
of like people that hate me, but I try to kill them with kindness.
There you go, and you really do. Though.
Yeah, you have to. And it
Shout
works
out
so-
to Margaret
it
Hill,
works
Dr.
good.
Hill.
It works good.
And I also like to also mention though, we also deal with the adult population. So we do have prison to employment and we have Cal Hire. So a lot of people coming out,
Yes.
from prison.
Totally.
We actually help them with a lot of, resources, even housing, So the family assistance program also helps with that too though.
Awesome. A question for you, Brother George, is that knowing when you came out in 2010, do you see a difference in the amount of resources that people that are returning back to community are able to access in comparison to your time when you came out in 2010? Are there more resources available for our people returning from incarceration, or is it still a need for more?
I think it's still a need for more. I mean, you have it, like I said, you have young visionaries, right? And you
Yes.
have like hope culture. You have different people, but I think there's definitely a need for more still.
Definitely.
Because times is harder, the prices is higher.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
well,
I can't even buy eggs like I
So
used to.
this is a good segue for me. Like, so we talked earlier about that we might be seeing some cuts here
Yeah.
coming up, and like forming new non-for-profits may be a little bit harder because
Yes.
there'll be a smaller pool of grant funds to be
Depending
drawing
on
from.
where
Yeah.
you get your funding.
Yeah, where you get your funding.
Yeah.
And something that was very interesting to me, you said there was multiple grants, right? So like,
Yeah, we have many.
yeah, many grants. So like, how many does it take? Or do you just get as many as you can? Or like, do you have to have a certain amount of grant monies to run the organization?
Well, if you can get one that's got that's 10
Depending
million,
on the-
you know
no,
what
I
I mean?
hear
Then you might
depending
only
on
need
the,
one.
Yeah.
size
You know what I
of the
mean? You
grant
might only need one.
Okay.
So it just depends on the amount of the grant.
and
So-
the size
And the
Yeah.
services and resources that
we
the
do.
size of
Services
the
like
organization.
Now, do these they're like 3-year grants or 10-year grants or 1-year
They're
grant?
different. They
Yeah.
can come into. They could have. You have some of the bigger grants where, if you're lucky and you get like a 10-year grant that's
Yeah.
$10 million
Well, for
and $1
example,
million over a year.
Edwin mentioned that Cord's got a grant for 3 years.
Yeah,
right?
with the probably the
Yeah.
probation. or
Yeah, it
something
depends
like
on what it is, like probation. Like, because
Yeah.
we deal with probation too, so our grant could probably extend with probation.
Could be
Because
3
that's
years.
that's
Yeah.
unending, right?
So,
A need.
so 3 years sounds to me okay.
Yeah.
That's good, right?
Yeah,
That's
no,
like
that's definitely good.
but that's only good if your costs don't.
Exceed.
Yeah,
because
that.
it is a
Right.
business
Yeah.
at the end of the
Right.
day,
Yeah, yeah.
even though it's non-profit. But it is a business, right? But the profits or the money you make is reinvested you don't put it in your
that,
pocket.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right, definitely.
I feel like the profit, with that said, the difference, obviously, like they're like, oh, there's money in profit, but we don't, not like a corporation, we don't offer services to a customer, it's not a consumer. Our services is free for the client.
Yes.
So that's basically the big
Definitely,
difference, right?
definitely. A couple of the big difference, and then the tax
and
benefits.
the
of it.
draw to want to give to that kind of organization in the first place.
And
Right.
then what we often forget is nonprofits were created to address the needs of the community that the government was unable to cover. So they
Right.
Or don't want to come.
create or don't.
yeah.
Things that
And they're going to need you a lot more lately.
Need us or you don't bonitos. I'm confused. Yeah.
Definitely. And so the nonprofits are addressing the needs in our community that the government might not have the capacity to address,
Right.
but they're willing to invest in organizations
Right.
to provide those needs, to serve those needs.
Right,
you know?
because we just got one with VIP, violent intervention program.
Yes,
So
definitely,
yeah,
definitely.
and like you said, it opens up the door because, like you said, they might not can address it. So
Definitely.
that's something that we actually addressing now too, though.
Definitely,
VIP
definitely.
program, yeah.
Let's dive into, and before we dive into the next round of questions, I just want to say thank you to Russell and the Dagan family as well, because Russell was kind enough to allow me to use the facilities on the third Saturday. That's where I orchestrated the healing circles that I was performing in partnership with Starting Over Incorporated out in Riverside, well, throughout the Inland Empire, Vonia Quarles leadership, under the leadership of Vonia Quarles. And I'm going to be trying to implement this Good Guys initiative. And initially, when I put that little manifesto on Facebook page, Russell hit me up. It's like, bro, if you ever want to need a space to facilitate this vision you have, like, come through. And so and that was years ago, but I finally circled back around and knocked on his door, and he's like, bro, here's the keys. And it's like, seriously, bro? Like, so, I just want to say thank you to Russell. I hope that his son and the team won the tournament and everything like that. He's a very supportive father, and knowing that he was raised under that same support with his parents, right? So I just wanted to say thank you to Russell for trusting me and allowing me to utilize Operation New Hope, and there's many things that I can see us partnering and working together to ultimately be a blessing unto humanity.
That's right.
Definitely. But going back to Christina, it looked like you had something you wanted to say.
No.
Definitely. Well, I just wanted to kind of we wanted to learn more about you, and you kind of shared that you came from LA and everything like that. But what is one thing that you want the world to know about you, your story, if your origin story? What is something that you think is very unique about your lived experience that can empower others?
I feel like, uniquely, I feel I am one of those survivors. I did, not to dive too much into detail, but I'm 10 years sober.
Congratulations.
So that's something that I'm really proud of.
California sober?
Definitely California. No, but also I think that's important because right now you mentioned some people that come out of prison need the church, or that's kind of the structure that we know. And with rehabilitation.
Thank you for being sober. It's a struggle, and I don't want to take anything away from that.
Yeah, no worries.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And with that being said, I didn't do your traditional 12-step or anything like that. It was just love of the family, making sure that they knew that I was in trouble and they pulled me out. Pretty much, that's how I ended up in the Inland Empire, actually. But it was life-changing moment, and I think that for me, that is one of the most unique things. Like, I survived something that most people unfortunately don't, and I didn't. Again, I'm not on medication. It was just really the power of love. That's what I could say. So I love, I thank my family for being behind me. And, the second, and one of the advices I could say is the second you start choosing right for yourself, everything starts to look better.
Beautiful.
Life starts looking good.
Beautiful.
So
you can choose to look at all the negative things around you,
Word.
or you can really look for the good things around you.
Yeah.
Yes.
The way I say it is look through the lenses of love, right?
Yeah.
Because if you look through the lenses of negativity, you're going to see, when you look at that mirror self-reflection, you're going to see everything negative about yourself, and wherever your gaze goes, you're going to see the negativity. But when you learn to look upon yourself with forgiveness, love, compassion, empathy, you see the beautiful creation that you are, and the positive and the gifts and the uniqueness that you bring to this world.
It takes practice too.
It totally does. It's
Yeah.
not going to happen overnight. But speak life over your life. Speak life and love into your life, because the greatest battle, my personal opinion, our greatest battle within this experience of life is that of our own mind, our own thinking. So often we're our worst enemy. You got to learn how to be your best cheerleader, how to speak life into your life, how to surround yourself with positive as well.
That's always been the hardest thing for me. Like that line where you're being too cocky, but you still, you don't.
Humble, but confident.
Yeah, for me, learning to be humble has been a journey in itself, right? Yeah, and it's very important to practice that too.
Yes, indeed. Humility is a beautiful
Yeah,
thing.
because sometimes when you get in the limelight or whatever, you get a little.
That head can start getting big.
And then it gets popped real quick.
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you
It's
got
a bigger target.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
Yes.
always somebody better than you or more famous or whatever.
Definitely.
you know.
Remember that 1.9.
Yeah.
Remember that.
Exactly.
Definitely. Brother George, and thank you, Christina, for your wonderful response and sharing and being transparent, on that same wavelength. I have my struggles with alcoholism. And one thing that made me change where I had a time of 406 days of sobriety was my father, knowing that his health and what the nightmare I would have was like, my dad's having an emergency or something, and I'm too drunk to respond and help and assist my father or my mother, right?
That's a
or
good
my
reason.
brother, right? So that's what pulled me out of that space of alcoholism. Now I still drink here and there, but not to the frequency that I once did. You know what I mean? And it it's a constant work, one day at a time. You know what I mean? Because I'm getting older now, and you only get one liver.
Right.
Yes, definitely.
So I say all that to say that it's so important for each of us to take care of your vessel. I like to say the temple, mind, body, and spirit. To address the needs of your heart, your mind, your spirit, and your soul, and your physical temple, right? Because this is the vessel that we've each given. This is what allows us to share this gift of life. And my dad says, you take care of your tools, they'll take care of you. So if you take care of your health, your mind, body, spirit, and soul, you'll definitely have a more fulfilling and meaningful experience within this gift of life.
Right.
Definitely. Brother George, or should I say Chef George, how you doing today? What are some of your go-tos? Because you said your brothers and sisters are professional chefs. Right. So shout them out real quick, man.
I want to shout out my sister, Janetta Sweeney. She had a restaurant, it was Carrie's Barbecue and Soul Food.
Okay.
Right here off of
Definitely.
Baseline.
Definitely. Right there on the west
yeah,
side.
Yeah. So
I used to go to Carrie's,
yeah,
definitely.
But she still do catering from the house and stuff.
Okay.
And then my brother, of course, two of my brothers. One of my brothers is really good at that fish and deep frying turkeys.
Okay.
And then my other brother, he's really good at barbecuing and doing a lot of stuff. But so they kind of woke me up to it.
There you go. So
And
what are you good at?
I'm good at. I experiment a lot, so I'll try whatever. I'll smoke some salmon with some fish, I'll do all kinds of
Prove
stuff.
it.
So now I do some little grilling. I mean, we have a little thing planned for my job coming up.
Okay.
I'm pretty
When
good with the
is that
mac and
happening?
cheese. I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good with the mac and cheese.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, don't wait a second here. You can't just say that.
You're right. So I have to invite you guys.
Yes. Thank you.
So
Thank you, sir.
But So I do plan on smoking
We'll
some
have
ribs.
another show on here. We could have a couple things of macaroni and cheese.
We're going to have some music. We'll have some smoked salmon, some mac and cheese.
That's right.
Some
yeah.
fried turkey. Yeah.
But thank you for that, Brother George. But the kind of very similar question that I posed to Christina is that, what in your life, growing up on the west side, west side in the house, west side San Bernardino, right?
And Riverside, I'm raised at.
You were
I'm
throughout,
born in Rubidoux.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's where I
Throughout
was
the
born.
Empire,
Yeah.
right? For those youth that are struggling right now or heading down the wrong road, right? Knowing that you know where that road leads.
Yes.
What is it that you would say to your 18-year-old self, knowing where you're at now, knowing the impact that you're making in our community now? What would you say to that 18-year-old or your 18-year-old self, or even teenage self, to try to help them understand the path that they're going to, where that leads, and that there's a better path for the opportunity that they have if they turn around?
Okay, first I want to just give a shout out to my daughter, right? Yeah, Dr. Shanae Bowman. She had a dream to have a charter school. Awesome. Yeah, she had a dream to have a charter school right here in Del Rosa, and things didn't work out so well, but she's still trying. She's appealing it right now.
Amen.
So, but when I say that is because when I left at 18, she was 2 years old.
Okay.
So I was like 15 when she was born. 9 days later, I turned 16. Man. So I can say a lot to those young kids that, have the experience of having kids when they're young, right? And then also, I didn't come from that nuclear family, right? So I understand that, that was really important. And I didn't have that, or I know I did have, certain relatives that did try to look out for us.
Amen.
So, I would say basically, you do have to have a circle. You do have to have mentors. You do have to have people that you can hope in, right? And that's why, ironically, Operation New Hope is something, because that's something I had, right? That's something I had when I was young.
And your daughter too. I want her to have some hope too, to open that charter school.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
Have hope. Like just keep trucking.
Keep on trucking.
Yeah.
Don't
Don't
give
stop.
up. And and I say don't give up because I'm gonna stay with the point that you asked me. But I went to the board 13 times before I got a date.
Yeah.
So I could have gave up on the 4th time, the 5th time, the 6th time, the 7th time, the 8th time, the 9th time, but I didn't. So I kept that hope. I kept that hope alive that one day I would be out there. And she was part of that hope. She was part of that inspiration, as far as me getting out there, because she was 2 years old when I fell.
I hear you.
Right.
I hear you.
But I would tell them that basically you want to surround yourself with a good circle of people. You don't want to put yourself around people. I want to be around people that's smarter than me too.
Oh, totally.
You know what I mean? So
totally
therefore
agree.
I can learn something, right? And so that's the main thing.
People that challenge you.
That challenge you.
That want you to grow.
People that's gonna keep you on your toes.
It might be your rival, but
It might be your
do it, team, do it.
Oh, it's something to learn.
So definitely I would tell them, like, when it comes to overcoming obstacles, because that's what we have to do. A lot of us have to overcome obstacles,
Totally.
right?
Totally.
And
Every
we also
day.
know that conflict is like mandatory. That's gonna happen.
Yes.
So you got to learn conflict resolution.
Totally.
Then you got to have that confidence.
Yes,
Then you also got to learn how to communicate.
There you go.
Because communication is a really
key.
good key. And then the
Totally.
confidence. Without being cocky, right?
Yeah.
Having the confidence without being cocky, having that humbleness, right?
Yes.
So those are the things that I would do, and that's what we share when we go inside. Because we go inside Central 4 days a week.
I hear you.
We go in Apple Valley once a week, and that's what we do. We give anger management classes, we
hear
give
you.
food handling, and financial literacy.
Yes.
But in that, we try to give life skills too.
Amen.
So I talk to them.
So do you have any, what would you say would be a success story from what you dealt with today?
A success story?
Yeah, from what you taught today.
From going in, was there anything that touched your heart today going up into the facility in Apple Valley? Do you see?
Yeah, a young man that.
Did
that-
anyone
Yeah,
receive?
I basically would say
see the
that
lights come
I would
on?
actually say that, like, our anger management class that we just had, I usually like to go in there and challenge them, right, with like questions that don't get them bored. And today I was asking some questions that really I seen lights go off. I
Yeah.
seen that actually because I was asking them about situations that if they can go back, and have to deal with situations like, how would you rewrite it? How would you deal with it if you could deal with it again? Like, even though you might explode it,
Yeah.
rewrite that and see what would you do. And a lot of them had to really think,
I hear you.
right? So, and to me, like, lights went off, and they like really thanked me in the end.
Amen.
Really shook my hand, like
That's
they really
good.
appreciated me,
'Cause I
like
know it's
actually
hard to
being there.
connect.
So I believe that our anger management classes is one of the strongest,
Awesome.
where a lot of our success stories come up out of.
Definitely.
Because I think they feel it, and they realize that they're in a place where they really don't have a choice.
Yeah.
And I always tell them, when you come out, that's what temptation is going to be. That's where you're really going to have to battle.
That's when, yeah,
You know
that's
what I
the
mean?
real.
It's right here. I see, because
Not
in there,
going back.
yeah. So we got 2 minutes, you guys.
Definitely. With us, thank you, E Money, for keeping us on track. With circling around with our last 3 minutes of the show, is there any upcoming events happening at Operation New Hope, or anything that the community should be looking forward coming from the organization? Because I know sometimes you guys do like resource fairs in the parking lot. Are there any upcoming events that you would like to share or uplift?
I know we will be having some in June.
Okay.
The month of May, I haven't seen the calendar, but if anything pops up,
Okay.
I'll be sure to let you know.
Definitely.
We do also have a podcast starting in May.
Awesome.
And this is going to be for youth by youth.
Hey, now.
So anybody is welcome to come and talk to the youth, and we're going to get that going.
Contact me and we get
100%.
that, I'll make an effort to go on over there with my mama.
Okay,
There you go.
sounds like
There
a
you go.
plan.
There you
Yeah.
go. And if you're looking for people to interview,
Absolutely. This one, and authors, right? People,
Yes.
or people who
Authors,
are putting out
poet-
books.
poets,
engineers,
authors.
if we will. Yeah, definitely.
definitely another radio show. Bring us all through.
A little guidance for the podcast for the youth,
you
for
go.
our participants. It would be fantastic to guide us up
Definitely.
there.
He's a gigolo too.
Yeah. All right.
Well, he moonlights, Eric.
You mean I'm a juggalo with the Insane Clown Posse?
Shout out to Insane
That's
Posse.
what you said.
Shout out to Insane Clown Posse.
And this is Robert Porter and Ippiani Locker with the I Love San Bernardino County radio show, and we are
Out of here.